And these tonsils are covered by the epithelium, which has depressions, which are called crypts of the tonsil.
Keratinized epithelium.
All what epithelium which covers whatever I said, it will be stratified, squamous, non-keratinized epithelium.
Esophagus, I'm talking about esophagus.
And in the esophagus also, yes.
Keratinized.
Non-keratinized.
Non-keratinized.
Keratinized
Keratinized
skin,
on hairs.
yeah.
Hairs, nails.
Non-keratinized
Okay.
epithelium.
And now, if we remove now this, yeah, so what do we see? We would see muscles which form actually the pellet. And the muscles I saw here, yeah, muscles. Just saw it. And okay, here we can see like this, yeah. These muscles in the middle, yeah, connect, and their tendons form like plate, tendinous plate, aponeurosis, yeah, which will be attached to the hard pellet over here posteriorly. And from both sides, actually, we have it covered by the epithelium, yeah. This side, which we see over here, it will be oral side, but the other side will be directed to the pharynx, yeah. So therefore, it will have the epithelium more like nasal epithelium, respiratory. And now muscles, yeah. Let me see what we have here. So which muscles do we have? The same, actually. Okay, so let's name this muscle. So in the center, we have uvular muscle. Yeah, this uvular muscle starts from the posterior nasal spine over here and attaches to the mucosa of the uvula. So when it contracts and makes the uvula shorten. When it is needed, when we swallow, yeah, and we should tighter connect the pellet to the posterior wall of the pharynx, yeah, not to have connection between nasal cavity and pharynx, so that food would not get into the nasal cavity. Okay, so then there will be muscles which run in the arch, palatine arches. They have the same name like arches, yeah. So here we can see palatoglossal arch. It runs from the palatine aponeurosis, we can say, and then attaches to the lateral walls of the tongue. Yeah, so this muscle makes the fauces narrower. Yeah, like this. Then there will be other muscles, the same again, like name of them. Arch. It is called palatopharyngeal. So again, upper part starts from the aponeurosis, and then it runs like this. In the lateral wall of the palate, we can see it over here. This is first anterior arch, palatoglossal. This will be palatopharyngeal. Between them, we see the palatine sinus and palatine tonsils over here, and this way how runs this muscle, which is called palatopharyngeal. So it will end in the lateral wall of the pharynx and reaches even the thyroid cartilage. Yeah, so therefore, when this muscle contracts, what will happen? It elevates the larynx, and together with the larynx, pharynx, closer to the food bolus, which we swallow, yeah, like this, and epiglottis also will be closer to here. But okay, so this what this muscle does, yeah, and pulls the pellet downward and a little bit posteriorly. So, but we have not only this muscle, we have two muscles which come to the pellet from above, yeah, and these muscles are called tensor and levator veli palatini. They come from the top, yeah. So here you can see them like this. Okay. So actually I need this. How do they run? They start from the base of the skull, these two muscles, which are sphenoid bone and temporal bone. Yeah. Then the muscle which is levator veli palatin, it starts. Not only from the bones, and also they start from the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube or eustachian tube. Okay, so if you remember, but it is not me who was with you. So we have this, if you remember, that here we have canal, yeah, muscular tubal canal over here. It is bony canal through which the eustachian tube passes, and then in this groove there will be cartilaginous part of the auditory tube, and it opens over here into the nasopharynx at this level. So therefore, what I want to say, these two muscles also start from the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube, and then levator runs like this, downward to the midline. Yes, so this way. Okay, so and it will elevate the palate and velum palatin, and then soft palate, I mean. Tensor veli palati will run this way. It runs along the pterygoid process downward, then turns under the right angle around the pterygoid process and runs like this transversally. And it tenses the palate, a little bit elevates and makes it shorter at the same time. Yeah, tensor veli palati. So this is levator, as you see, going like this. Yeah, and this is tensor. It runs downward, and then tendon of this muscle change the direction around the hamulus, pterygoid hamulus over here. Yeah, so this way. And when these muscles contract, especially tensor, what happens? Not only what I described now, movement of the palate itself, but also it increases the lumen of the auditory tube. So therefore, when we swallow, the ear comes from the nasopharynx to our tympanic cavity. Yeah. So, and when we fly, for example, yeah, take off and then what we do is swallow. Yeah. So to have our ears open again. Yeah, not to be blocked. So
This gives us chewing gum.
and yes, and I don't know how now, I don't remember that. In all the time when it's just started in our country, I remember they gave, when the flight was short, they gave that just candy to sack, yeah? So now, of course, we have different kind of food, but it would be not related to our landing or taking. Yes, but anyway, when we do like this, we swallow, yeah? And if you somehow you fell asleep, but it usually doesn't happen when we take off or land, yeah, but it can happen, for example, if we gradually go in some hills or mountains, yeah, so, and we go gradually and somebody is driving and you can sleep a little bit and then you appear like high altitude. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you woke up and your ears almost hurting you, yeah, because you forgot what to swallow. When we sleep, we swallow very rare, yeah, so therefore, not to have problems like this, we should be alert when we're in this position. Okay, so this about the functions of these muscles, and when we look, I see this picture and I don't know where it is now, okay. So here actually what's supposed to be, this is more about pharynx, yeah, but anyway, we see the way of the air, yeah, like this. And we can see a pathway for food, like this, yeah, and food shouldn't get into the nasal cavity and it shouldn't get into the larynx, yeah, so therefore all contraction of this muscle do what together with the muscles of the pharynx? They are for our palate becomes shorter and closer to the posterior wall of the pharynx, and they needed to close this opening of the larynx. For that matter, we pull up the larynx, yeah, but it do not only muscles which I described, it is muscles of the pharynx and muscles of the tongue do like this to close this opening. So therefore, food doesn't get into the respiratory tract. Okay, so this is about palate.